Good morning, parents. Welcome to our first EAGM. During 2020, we've experienced a lot of challenges due to COVID-19, and this has made us to obviously adopt certain ways of doing things. Now, this EAGM, I'm hoping that it's going to be the first of its kind within the school, and let's make it successful. The 2019 AGM minutes and resolutions were emailed to all the parents on the 8th of October 2020, and no matters arising or corrections were received. Now, the order of proceedings for today are as follows. 1, we're going to have the adoption of the 2019 AGM minutes. 2, the address by the principal, Ms. Nicola White. 3, the address by the school governing body chair, Mrs. Lara Rennie. 4, we're going to have a presentation of the 2021 budget by the Treasury, Mr. Sanjay Patel, and the Financial Manager, Mrs. A. Naika. 5 would be the presentation of the resolutions, the voting process, and the vote of thanks by myself. Now, the 2019 AGM minutes were proposed by Ms. Ray and seconded by Mr. Bayat. The minutes have been officially adopted. Now, I will hand over to Mrs. White for the school report. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to our 2020 virtual AGM. Thank you for taking the trouble to view our presentation. Ahead of the attacks on its cities during World War II, British government issued and displayed 3 posters with messages written to boost morale and mentally prepare its civilians. One of them, Keep Calm and Carry On, has grown in popularity over the years because its message is applicable beyond its original intent. It is also sadly resonant now that the coronavirus pandemic is invoking comparisons to a worldwide war. At Greenside High, this message of keep calm and carry on has carried us through every day, whether consciously, subconsciously, or even subliminally. We make everyone's safety our first priority and also strive to be aware of the importance of positive attitudes and mental well-being. We are to learn on the job, and it is still too early to see how everyone will settle into the new normal with its adjusted learning routines and environments. Even from the most terrible and difficult situations can come wonderful opportunities, which given time can come to fruition. We don't pretend to have all the answers or best solutions, but this hasn't paralyzed us. Right from the start of lockdown, we turned to the proliferation of mobile devices as one avenue of solution, and learners were encouraged to draw on older forms of communication like radio and television. 3 of our staff members were approached to be part of the STEM Lockdown Digital School Initiative. One of the teachers, Mr. Masambuka, has been named as a local hero by MTN for his participation in this program, which reached over 2 million learners. Our staff became adept at platforms like Google Classroom, and through the course of the year, the staff have all been trained on Microsoft Teams. However, we are acutely aware of challenges like limited or no internet and access to digital devices and data. Solutions and innovations cannot rest in technology alone. We have to use this experience to positively change the way we think of education for the better. We need to support one another in this endeavor to be prepared for what lies ahead. Ask any child what they felt about learning in lockdown, and without fail, they will mention that they yearned for the real-life presence of their teachers. My staff has been absolutely phenomenal in their resilience and professionalism. While many schools had to face numerous teachers being booked off for comorbidities and other factors, we only had one such application, albeit that many more of our staff could have and still do qualify for comorbidity concessions and remain at high risk. It is this incredible staff contingent, educators, administrative and support staff, who are the backbone of the school and by extrapolation are at the core of our 2021 budget. Please have this at the forefront of your mind when you respond to our resolutions. The number one priority, the non-negotiable, is to keep well-qualified, able, motivated professionals on the teaching staff at Greenside High School. Greenside continues to enjoy the luxury of a full staff complement. If we were to run on the staff complement allocated by the Gauteng Department of Education, our ability to maintain standards and strive for excellence would be seriously jeopardized. The significant number of teaching staff, currently 30 educators employed by the school governing body, allows for a healthy learner-teacher ratio, which became an additional godsend in the era of COVID-19 and social distancing. It is inevitable that there's going to be attrition when it comes to staff. A not insignificant number of key staff are approaching retirement, and in the COVID era, older staff are also deemed high risk, and this could lead to further attrition. Where we lose key staff members whose skills, experience, and contribution are invaluable, it is imperative to find replacements of the same caliber. The unsavory practice of schools poaching teachers died down at one stage, but has reasserted itself with a vengeance. We need to be in a position where we can offer competitive salary packages for indispensable staff. It is also important to bear in mind that the GDE is currently only providing funds for 7 support staff, catering to a learner body of over 1,000. The SGB supplements our support staff with a further 18 staff. In 2019, we had an additional 22 support staff funded by the SGB. We are understaffed in our admin department and are looking to employ extra personnel to relieve the burden on Mrs. Naika in particular. Our support staff also need to be saluted for the role that they played in our learners' safety and security. Their work has been relentless, with all the sanitizing that has to take place, every venue being thoroughly cleaned and sanitized at least twice a day. Such is the dedication of our support staff that a number of them elected to stay on the property during the whole of lockdown in order to assist with maintenance and security. A very important factor to bear in mind when it comes to our core function, which is academics, is that Greenside has an unprecedented range of subject choices, subject offerings, a luxury which does not come cheap. Specialist subjects like information technology, computer applications technology, engineering, graphics and design, electrical technology, visual arts, dramatic arts, consumer studies, give learners so many more advantages or options when it comes to further tertiary studies or career opportunities. Business studies is another subject hugely sought after because of its entrepreneurial opportunities, and we will have to grow the staff numbers in this subject. We will also continue to be one of the few government schools that offers both advanced program English and advanced program mathematics. The Minister of Basic Education, Mrs. Angie Mocheka, proposed on the 1st of October that at Alert Level 1, extracurricular activities should resume. She highlighted non-contact sports training and activities that lend themselves to measures to prevent and combat the spread of COVID-19. We expect a gazette with directions in this regard in the near future. One of the most heartbreaking experiences for me is the unnatural stillness of our campus, mostly deserted in the afternoons. Our children have sorely missed the collegiality, social interaction, and sense of belonging that extracurricular activities offer. In terms of Greenside's vision and mission, extramurals cannot be abandoned. They remain an essential component of a good education, and we would be extremely short-sighted to not be in a state of financial readiness when there is a steady return to extra and co-curricular programs. Although our capital expenditures must be deeply conservative, we cannot let our amenities run to seed, and consistent upkeep remains a priority. It is more important than ever with what our children are going through that they can learn in an environment which is well maintained and as aesthetically pleasing as possible. Given what at times seems the almost insurmountable challenges of running a school in these deeply unpredictable times, the support of parents, learners, the community, and all stakeholders has never been of such paramount importance. The school governing body has played a pivotal role, continuing to be a pillar of support while not losing sight of its core functions and obligations. Our SGB team has been ably led by Lara Rennie, who places a premium on organisation and keeps communication on our D6 platform going strong. Next year sees the educational sector preparing to conduct the 2021 school governing bodies elections in line with COVID-19 protocols. It is my fervent hope that in order to navigate the untold disruption experienced this year, our current SGB members will opt to stand again for elections, and that we can use the opportunity to recruit additional parents who have the school's best interests at heart and can therefore operate within an objective framework. We have not had to suffer the fate of far too many schools who have had to retrench staff and in some instances close their doors. Thank you to the many parents who, despite constrained financial resources, continued to prioritize their children's education by paying their school fees. Tribute must also be paid to Mrs. Naika, whose financial expertise and devotion to her portfolio ensured that our school finances could withstand the onslaught. At the start of my address, I mentioned the Keep Calm and Carry On mantra used in the Second World War poster campaign. I conclude with another motivational poster used in the same war. Your courage, your cheerfulness, and your resolution will bring us victory. I trust that you will exercise your judgment, wisdom, and foresight when it comes to voting on the resolutions which can help us in our quest to continue to be a good school. In the words of the famous writer and philosopher Molière, the greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it. Thank you.
Good morning, parents and guardians. Thank you, Mrs. White, and I do endorse each point that Mrs. White has made in her speech. I hope you have received and read the letters which I sent to you over the lockdown, as I have made many of the same points, particularly around our determination to keep paying our staff salaries and to keep the school finances stable so that our school will make it through the frightening pandemic intact and be able to continue providing the academics and extramurals that our children need. In the avalanche of information and decision-making we experienced over lockdown, the one point we always knew clearly was that we needed to hold on to our teachers, because if we miss a step and let them go, we really will struggle to replace them next year when things come right. I thank every family which has paid its fees on time and in full every month, and I'm aware of how difficult that has been for many families. We have had a few parents asking for us to refund fees this year or not raise them for next year. While I fully understand and sympathize with why this question is being raised, it is unfortunately not the way that school fees work. We are not a shop that has markups and a profit which would enable us to offer discounts. Our expenses for the year are fixed and our budget and school fee amount are drawn up so that fees only just cover expenses as is required by the South African Schools Act. We have no profit and we have no extra money in our budget, and the only way to reduce expenses would be to do things which would directly damage the school. For example, around 2/3 of our budget is spent on teacher salaries. The SGB knows that firing teachers now would be an extremely bad idea, and I don't believe that parents would want the resulting greatly increased class sizes. In addition, as we all know, other costs have not gone down. If anything, they've gone up. We have to pay our electricity bill, we have to pay our insurance. As parents, we are more aware than ever how important extramurals are, whether sport or cultural, and the SGB has made a clear decision that we are budgeting for near normal extramurals next year. Whenever the Minister allows sport to resume, we want our children out on the fields, getting exercise and getting coaching and participating in matches, and back at drama, dance and choir practice and festivals. Although there is the temptation now to cut those budgets, I think that most parents do not want us to do that. They want their children at extramurals next year. Taking all of this into account and going through the budget line by line, cutting everything that can be cut, but prioritizing what needs to be prioritized, we still reach the same position that teachers' salaries are 2/3 of our budget, and the department is very likely going to give teachers a raise, and electricity, water and cleaning materials are going to go up, and photocopying, teaching materials and insurance will go up, and even the cost of basic building maintenance is probably going to go up. So no matter how we arrange the numbers, school fees are going to have to go up. The SGB is in such a difficult position. Even though we completely understand the request not to increase school fees, we have no way to do that without actually damaging the school and without cutting back on what we would offer next year. And I'm certain that most parents really do not want us to do that. I must also mention that our school fees are still lower than almost every other school anywhere near here. You will not find better value for your money than at Greenside High. I would like to thank and congratulate Ms. White and all of the teachers, office staff and ground staff for carrying on and keeping the school going and on track for the last 7 months. We have been very fortunate to be under the steady hand of Ms. White during this crisis. Many times when I wondered what we would do about some new difficult matter, I found that Ms. White had already sorted it out and implemented the answer. I would also like to thank my fellow SGB members for their work and support over the last year. Every member has played their part, especially with the huge number of evening meetings we held at the end of last year to tie up a lot of time-consuming fees matters. This year, all of the SGB members have been under enormous stress with their own jobs and families, but have still made time to fulfill their roles on the SGB. I heard recently of a school which had all except one of its SGB members resign during the lockdown, and I'm grateful not to be in that position. I want to especially thank Sanjay Patel, our treasurer, who never says no to any request for his time and who is unfailingly supportive. And our SGB secretary, Cindy Ray, who takes the time to check through the details of emails and documents and ask questions and offer guidance and support. I also rely on the calm backup of Yvette Reddy, who has taken a particular interest in the emotional needs of our school's children and how the school can help them in that area. Samantha Naidu is also always available to contribute to decisions and discussions and is a calm presence when things get difficult. Lancelot Twala is the longest serving member of our SGB apart from myself, and although he is very busy, we know that when we really need him, we can phone him and he will not fail to be here for a vital meeting or discussion. Lance has spent 13 years serving on the SGBs of various schools and has a wealth of experience and good judgment to share with us. Mohammed Bayat is also a long-serving member of our SGB and has been a great support to me and the SGB over the years. Our star this year has been Patricia Tarahi, who managed to get a big generator donated and installed in the school. We have had that generator on our to-do list for so long, and she has finally done it. Our newest member is Colonel Sandile Mkhize, who was elected to the SGB at the beginning of this year. He only managed to attend one meeting before lockdown, but he has already assisted the school numerous times with his professional policing knowledge. Unfortunately, this year, the elected RCL leaders have not been able to serve on the SGB as lockdown started soon after their election. We currently have 2 teachers on our SGB, Mr. Liebenberg and Mr. Strauss, who report back from the teacher body and offer their viewpoint to important discussions. Mr. Strauss has also been the school COVID-19 safety officer and has the safety of all the learners and staff, takes it very, very seriously, and I'm sure his diligence has contributed to the fact that our school has not had an outbreak or any large transmission events. From the school side, the SGB is assisted enormously by Ms. Naika with the finance, HR and buildings and grounds function. Over lockdown, Ms. Naika seemed to work 24 hours a day on all aspects of the school's functioning, and we would not be in the stable financial position that we are in now without her. And thank you to Ms. White's PA, Gladys Mototani, who takes our minutes and keeps our files. We appreciate your work. There will be SGB elections early next year, and we hope that all the members of our SGB will stand again, although we will be losing one member whose child is currently in grade 12. We need a new parent member with integrity and clear judgment and a commitment to the ideal of providing an excellent education to all our children, and we hope a suitable person will volunteer to serve on our SGB by standing for election next year. The SGB members have all worked through the budget that is being presented today and endorsed the details as well as the final proposed fee amounts. Ms. Naika will present the figures to you in her speech, and we ask you to please approve the proposed budget and fees by voting to accept the resolutions. We need a quorum of parents to do this, and we thank you for your participation. We also ask you to continue prioritizing your responsibility to your child and everyone's collective responsibility for the stability of the school by paying your monthly fees on time and in full, and by paying the first installment of your fees at re-registration or enrollment. This early fee will be allocated partly to the development fund and partly to school operating expenses. The fees collected during re-enrollment and from parents who pay their fees upfront for the year enable us to manage our cash flow over January when many of our expenses are very high. I wish everyone health and happiness and job security over the next year, and I know that we can all grow personally from what we have been through. I, for one, have a better understanding of what my priorities should be and what really matters. Thank you, and I hand over to Sanjay Patel, our Treasurer.
Good morning. I'm Sanjay Patel, the Treasurer of the SGB. Together with Mrs. Naikar, we will be giving you a report on our finance and presenting the 2021 budget. The 2019 audit was completed, and I'm glad to report that Greenside High School received an unqualified audit. As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic has crippled our country's economy and the entire world economy. Some of us parents are probably victims ourselves of the financial devastation left by COVID-19. I therefore want to thank parents for making a concerted effort to pay their school fees despite this hardship. The major capital projects that began in 2019 and were completed in 2020 are below. 1. The T block roof, replaced with a new roof and insulation, and the wood panel replaced as well. 2. The E block toilets, which were very old and in need of a complete revamp and redesign to accommodate more learners. We increased the number of toilets from 7 to 10 in both the boys' bathroom and the girls' bathroom. We installed complete new toilet seats, tiled the entire space, and installed new mirrors, soap dispenser, and toilet roll holder. Our aim is to revamp a set of toilets, both boys and girls, per year, depending on our finance situation. 3. The library has been completely revamped. We redesigned and space to be both library and a classroom. The entire space was tiled. A new shelving system was installed, new computers installed, and the window replaced. 4. Revamp of the entire T14 and T13 classrooms. Electrical, painting, flooring, burglar bars, and installation of a new projectors. Our aim is to revamp our classroom as and when finance allow. 5. Due to the age of the school and the old infrastructure, we are constantly doing major repair to the old plumbing and electrics. 6. 4 classrooms were fitted with new projectors, complete with cages and speaker. We have also had 2 items sponsored this year. Firstly, 2 new gazebo were sponsored by West Bank and Radio 947. Secondly, a 25 kVA generator which can power 75% of the school was donated by Ms. Patricia Tharagi and Columbus Consulting. Thank you to these donors. Due to COVID-19, we had to put our other proposed projects for 2020 on hold, but we hope to still complete some of the following by year end. 1. New computers for the CAT lab. 2. Burglar bars for classroom that have projectors. 3. Laptops for classroom with projectors. 4. New Wi-Fi points. 5. Roof of S block. These blocks need a new roof. 6. Paving for car parks and their sidewalk area. One of the major projects that we still need sponsorship and fundraising 4 is the gym renovation. Due to the increase in the number of learners in our school, this project has become urgent. If parents know of any sponsorships, please contact the finance department. If any sponsorship is not obtained soon, we would then have to do the gym revamp for school fees in stage over a few years. Thank you very much. Now I will hand you over to Mrs. Naikar to present the 2021 budget.
Good morning, everyone. The budget for 2021. This budget was approved and ratified by the full school governing body on the 5th of October 2020. The budget was prepared from a zero base and on a pupil intake of 995 learners. The main contributors to the percentage increase of school fees is the increase in manpower and the increase in the general cost of living, for example, your municipal charges, sanitation, etc. The proposed income for 2021 is 41,740,250. The operational income is 38,755,250. The development fund is 2,985,000. The breakdown of the 2021 expenses is learner costs 14%, administration costs 3%, buildings and grounds 11%, and the majority of operating costs is for staff expenses, which is 72%. The SGB pays for an additional 30 educators, 2 specialists, an additional 14 PS staff, and 4 security staff. Projects that still need major sponsorship and fundraising are the hall renovations and, more importantly, our gym renovations. Based on the proposed income and expenditure for 2021, we are proposing an increase of 200 Rand per month on the current school fees. Therefore, the proposed school fees for 2021 is 41,950 Rand per annum. I will now hand you back to Mr. Lancelot Twala, who will conclude this presentation. Thank you.
Now, we're going to be coming through to the presentation of the resolutions as proposed by the school governing body. The voting process and the vote of thanks will be done thereafter. Now, let's go to the resolutions. We've got about 14 resolutions that we need to go through. Now, these 14 resolutions are very key for us to pass in order to keep our school operating in a normal fashion. Resolution 1. Greenside High School will remain a fee-paying school, acknowledging that the payment of school fees is a statutory obligation. Resolution 2. Greenside High School will charge school fees for 2021 and the amount of the school fees as proposed by the school governing body at the AGM is accepted. Resolution 3. The school fees are due and payable in full on the first day of the school year. Resolution 4. The first installment of 2021 school fees of 4,000 rands per learner is to be paid at the registration and enrollment. Now, the development fund is reserved for cost, including but not limited to learner development and ongoing maintenance and development of the school's infrastructure. Resolution 5. Parents or guardians who settle their 2021 school fees in full by the 31st of December 2020 will be entitled to a discount of 2,000 rands per learner. Resolution 6. If fees are not paid in full in December 2020, the balance of the school fees must be paid over 10 months via a debit order payable by the 7th of the month, with the last payments by the 7th of November 2021. Resolution 7. If the parent or guardian fails to meet the agreed extended payment term commitments, all school fees will become immediately due and payable. Resolution 8. The school will allocate all payments received from parents or guardians to the outstanding fees first. Resolution 9. The procedure and criteria followed by the school for applications for total, partial, or conditional exemption from the requirement to pay the school fees will be based on the regulations published in terms of the South African Schools Act 84 of 1996 as amended. Resolution 10. The school governing body is empowered to pay additional remuneration to state employed educators and staff. Now, this amount is included in the proposed budget for 2021 and will be submitted to the Department of Education for approval in terms of Section 38A of the South African Schools Act, number 84 of 1996. Resolution 11. The school governing body is authorized to make adjustment to planned expenditure on both an operating and capital nature. Now, in order for us to meet the needs of the school as they may rise from time to time, subject to the specific constraints that the overall approved budget may not exceed without referring the adjustments back to the parent body of the school. Resolution 12. The school governing body may, on behalf of the parent body, apply for permission from the relevant education department authorities to enter into contract or lease agreements for the school. Now, Resolution 13. The school governing body will appoint or reappoint an auditor for Greenside High School for 2021. Resolution 14. The budget as presented by the school governing body is accepted and adopted. Now, parents, these are the resolutions that we're proposing, and would definitely like our parents to actually start voting and ensuring that these resolutions are actually passed. Now, I would like to give parents some details around the voting process. It's fairly easy and you just need to follow very simple instructions. Now, an email containing a link was sent to all parents with an email address. Now, the link will take you to a Google Forms page where you will enter your details, which is your email address, name, ID number, child's name, and grade. You will click a box declaring that you are entitled to vote, and then vote on the 14 resolution that we've just gone through and click submit. You may accept, reject, or abstain from each resolution. You can click to request that a copy of your submission is emailed to you. The whole voting process should only take you a few minutes and can be done anytime well before 4 p.m. Now, it's very important that you will have to get your ID number or your passport number if you don't have your ID number to vote, as this number will be used for verification purposes. Now, if any parent or legal guardian runs into problems with the videos or voting, please come into the school at the times detailed below to vote. We do not want anybody to be excluded because of technical problems. Now, the voting closes at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, the 20th of October, 2020. Please do take note of that. Now, counting and verification process. Now, once the voting closes, a committee of the Greenside High School educators and admin staff will conduct the following: verification of names against the register of the parents or legal guardians of current learners, disqualification of any fraudulent or duplicate votes, downloading of the attendance registry, checking that a quorum was reached, which will require 15% of the Greenside High School parents and legal guardians, downloading of the vote count, and lastly, drawing up an email to parents informing them of the outcome of the vote. Now, before midnight on Tuesday, the 20th of October, an email will be sent to parents and guardians announcing the outcome of the vote and the details of the school fees for 2021. An SMS will also be sent confirming that the email has been sent. Now, it's very important that the parents and legal guardians who need assistance, you are unable to watch the speeches or vote through your own phone or computer, or the school admin staff will assist you in the school hall on the day. Please come to the school at one of the following times: 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and 2 p.m. respectively. You must bring your ID card or book, as you will not be permitted to vote without an identification. You must be wearing a mask, and the school security guards will screen you, provide the sanitizer, and take the temperatures, and obviously ask the health questions. And you will go on to the hall where the video of the speeches will be shown at the times listed above. Now, immediately after the video finishes, you will be assisted to log on to the voting page of the school's computers in the hall, and you'll be able to vote. Now, thank you very much for your support, and please remember that all the parents are bound by the decision made by the annual general meeting and the voting process, so we do want everyone's participation. Dear parents, we would like to take this opportunity to thank all the parents who participated and all the parents who supported us, the school, the teachers, the principal, our financial manager, and all the ground staff during this difficult period. Now, COVID-19 has not been easy. Many parents have experienced retrenchments. Many parents have gotten sick, and it was never a business as usual. So we would like to take this opportunity as the school governing body to thank all the parents who really contributed positively to making sure that we go through this together. Thank you very much, and goodbye.